As a seller, at the end of your transaction, what's the number one thing you're concerned about? That's the net amount of money you're gonna walk away with. I'm gonna show you in this video how to estimate it, and we're gonna start right now. Hey guys, Hans Struzyna with the Gunderman Group at Keller Luxury International coming to you with another video. This time, we're talking to the home sellers out there. The number one question I often get is, how do I estimate all of the expenses so that I can figure out exactly how much money I'm gonna walk away with and potentially figure out what price I need to sell for to hit my goal? Well, that's what I'm gonna cover in this video, and I'm gonna do it in a slightly different format. I'm gonna show you, I'm actually gonna share my screen as I do this estimation with the tool that I recommend all my clients use, because it gives you a really accurate, not exactly 100%, but pretty darn close estimate, so you can use it for your budgeting and your estimating. If you get value out of this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, because I'm gonna continue to put out weekly East Bay real estate content just like this, and you're not going to want to miss it. So without any further ado, let's get into it. All right, so we're here sitting at the computer together. Wanted to take a few minutes and walk you through the seller net sheet. It's a little simpler than the buyer net sheet, but it is definitely still a good tool because you're going to see exactly your net, and then you can kind of go back and forward to reverse engineer the price to figure out if I sell for $1 million, if I sell for $2 million, whatever, how much am I gonna net, and where do I need to be if I want to net a certain amount. So it's kind of a good tool for that as well. So for my hypothetical example, I'm gonna say we're selling $1 million house in Alameda. So you'll see the typical taxes here for Alameda, and they would change depending on the property address, obviously. So I always go over to Placer Title Company, which is my go-to title representatives and escrow people, and go to their client services tab, and then go down here and click on Seller's Net Sheet. That opens up this new window. I'm gonna put my information in here. I'm gonna say I'm the seller, and I'm just gonna say, use an old address of mine in Alameda, and again we're going $1 million sales price. So we're going to say it's a 30-day escrow, so it's closing in about 30 days. Property is located in the city limits. Now we're ready to move on. So now we're ready for the closing costs section. This first line item here that's a clickable box, this 3 1/3% of the sales price California withholdings, make sure you talk to your escrow rep as well as your CPA to make sure that you do or you don't qualify for this, because obviously that's a big chunk of money if it's applicable to you. So get that answer before you fill that part in. But moving down, it is very typical for the seller to pay the county transfer tax. Very typical to split the 50-50. The title insurance and the escrow fee are almost always on the buyer, so you can leave those there. Then they've got these pre-filled, some notary fees, total commission, let's just say it's 5.5%. So there's our commission amounts, which will be split between the buyer and seller, as I've talked about in some other videos. And then you can see, what's my estimated loan payment? Well, let's just say we owed $600,000 on this $1 million loan. There's gonna be a couple of fees associated with that get pre-filled. We don't have a second loan for the sake of this example, and we'll move forward. Then it's nice because they've already got a couple of numbers in here that are pre-filled. The natural hazard disclosure report is something that is statutorily required for the seller to pay for, so it's going to show up on your report. It's usually less than $100 though. Sometimes it's $120, just depends on the situation. Generally speaking, as we all know, we don't do we don't do repairs for inspections, but if you were to do an actual repair through escrow, you could drop it into one of these two sections. And then loan fees that you're paying for the buyer. If you give them a credit of some kind for whatever reason, you could put them in right here. If there was an HOA involved, of course you would drop it in there. For this example, we don't have an HOA. Going to the last section, tax proration. This is complicated because as you know, you pay your taxes every 6 months. And if you close sometime in the middle of those 6 months, you should only be responsible for the time until you own the house, then the buyer takes over. So if you want to figure out exactly how many days out of that 6 months your closing date lands on, that's where you would put this amount in. For the sake of this example, I'm not going to do that, but if you wanted to get really exact, this would be the one area that you would see a bigger change in your net. Total estimated credits to sellers, so we've got none, so this is a quick overview of everything, and now we're ready to create this printable version. So we hit this button right here, and boom, this gives us a really nice clean net sheet that tells us everything that we just put in, so we can see the debits and the credits and how it all lines up. And that $337,256 is our net on that $1 million purchase with that $600,000 loan. Hopefully that gave you a quick idea and gave you some tools and some ideas on how to estimate your net. And if you do want to get to where this tool is located, I'm dropping it right down here in the comment or in the description of the video, so it's easy to find and you can click on it there and find it for yourself. And that is it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you got value out of this, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, because I am going to continue to put out weekly content about their East Bay real estate market, just like this every Friday. So you're not going to want to miss it. And if you want to see the tool, you want to find out exactly where I got that, down in the description below is where I have it linked up. So it'll be easy for you to click, estimate your closing costs, and figure out what your net is going to be on your sale. So without any further ado, let's sign it off for today. This is Hans Struzyna with the Gunderman Group at Keller Williams Luxury International, and we're signing off for now. See you guys on the next one.